today's program. We're going to get ready and get started here. We have a great speaker, and I'm sure more people will be showing up. People always tend to come a little bit later, but that's okay. I am, for those of you that don't know, I'm Kathy Matson, Assistant Director of Student Life at Mount Wachusett. We have Brittany De La Rosa is the co-host today, so she's going to be monitoring our waiting room. And then Amy Willette is, she's our tech person. She's actually going to be taking some photos today, some screenshots. So we'd love to have your cameras on so you can get in some of those photos. If you don't want to be recorded, feel free to turn off your camera, but we'd love it if your cameras are on. And we're going to have some Q&A at the end, so feel free to unmute later on and ask some questions. But while Ryan is speaking, we ask you to keep yourself muted so we don't get any background noise. And if you are uncomfortable unmuting, feel free to put your questions in the chat. We'll be going through that at the end also. So, and Ryan is going to do a much better job of introducing himself than I am. I will just tell you, I just had a little bit of time with him at 2 o'clock today, and I learned so much about Ryan, and he's amazing. I got to watch some of his stuff, and I think this is going to be a great time. So without further ado, here's Ryan's stream.
Awesome, Kathy. We're going to start out with some videos like we talked about, and then I'll let them know that I'm an award-winning musician, speaker, and veteran. So here we go. Here we go. Ready for takeoff. I remember the first time I got 1,000 views. I daydreamed of Hollywood and all the interviews. I gave it my all. I called my mom. Mom, did you listen to my song? Turn your radio on. Because one day, someday, the rest of the world will sing along. I went from homeless boy, druggie to hero. 1,000 views, then I added a few more zeros. 1 million views starts with one. As she hung up the phone, she said, someday you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. You wait and see. The dream. Someday you're gonna make it. 'Cause I've been believing you. You can do anything that you want to. Yeah, want to. I was blessed with 2 sets of parents. One who brought me into the world and one who raised me. I was adopted as a young boy, and it was the stream name that saved me. My biological mother, she's gone. Depression stole her away. Her birthday is Valentine's Day. Every year that it passes, I remember all of the roses on her casket. I love you, Mom. I miss you. I never told you and Dad that I forgive you, but I do for everything that we went through. So when I die, will you teach me how to fly? When I take a knee, I hear my mother singing from the sky. She said, someday you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. Just you wait and see. The dreams you've been dreaming will become your reality. Someday you're gonna make it. Dad, this part's for you. Here we go. You can do anything that you want to. The best thing you could do as a father is show your children how much you love their mother. Dad, you're someone that I never had. A swing from a gavel. Across state lines, you and Mom traveled. 11 kids, 4 adopted. And then you opted to keep us together forever. I was excited about 1,000 views. Now I'm excited to show thousands of people what you and Mom do. Ryan, someday you're gonna make it. You're gonna make it. Just you wait and see. Tell them not yet. Dreams you've been dreaming. I've been dreaming. Reality. Ryan, someday you're gonna make it. 'Cause I've been leaving you. I believe you can do anything that you want to. Yeah, I want to thank everybody who has believed in me. Rick Rasmussen, Meeks, Van Ryan, my crew, Gomez, my wife, Keith Leonard, Miss Hanneman, military, my family, all my friends from Delta, Payson, and Emory County, Nixon, Olympia, Serve Daily, the Martinez family, Elise Tuttle. Thank you for believing in me. Kata, you can do anything that you want to. RJ Chance, Wilson, just believe in yourself. All the kids who are in foster care, who've been homeless and adopted, to all the families who open up their home and allow these children to live. I believe. Thank you for believing in them. Thank you for adopting me. All right, what's up, everybody? I'm so excited to be here today. Thank you so much for having me. Like I was just telling Kathy, I wish that we were in person But because of COVID, we all understand the precautions and the restrictions that have been set for every one of us. You just seen that music video. It hit 100,000 views in about the first 15 hours. The music video was about my mother committing suicide, my brothers and I begging for food, sleeping in a homeless shelter as children, my family being ripped apart. When I sent that video, when I put it online, I had people laugh at me. People laughed at me because I'm not the best, right? I know I'm not the best. Nobody's the best. There's always room for us to grow and to better ourselves. When I told people I wanted to be a motivational speaker and a musician, what do you think they did? Could you guys respond on there? What do you think they did when I told them I wanted to be a motivational speaker and a musician? People are smiling and laughing. That's exactly what they did. I had people that laughed at me. I had people that told me that there's no way that's possible. I remember I was at church and there was a guy that came up to me and he said, "Hey man, people are sick of seeing your stuff online. They think you think you're going to be famous and they think that you're crazy." My friends, over the past 4 years, I've been able to be on Inc.com. I'm going to be in Forbes magazine. Market Watch just did an article on me. Yahoo Finance. I won the music awards. Verizon Wireless Salute Award for America, and I've been on MTV. So do not ever let people tell you that you cannot do something. When I was young, like some of you, I wanted to be a professional athlete. I wanted to play in the NBA. You can't see how short I am. Usually when I'm on stage, I like to walk down into the crowd and grab somebody and have them stand up. When they stand up, you can see I'm about to their chest. I'm only 5'3.5". I'm cute. I'm little. And I'm about the same size as that basketball you're looking at right there. I wanted to be in the NBA. After I got adopted, my parents, they knew that's what I wanted to do. And my parents, they were strict. They were old school. My parents, every single day, made me go outside and shoot 200 shots after my school, after my work, after my extracurricular activities. I was outside dribbling the ball right-handed, left-handed. I dribbled the ball around the block so many times, I paved a path inside of the pavement. And I was able to play for the Jazz, the junior Jazz. I was able to play for the junior Jazz. That's where the little kids play and the little guys. I was able to play for the Junior Jazz Basketball Association. I learned that your goals and your dreams will not always go the way you plan. It's the truth. Sometimes we have adversity. Sometimes there are things that happen in our lives that allow us to not do what we want to do. But something really amazing did happen to me. I met my wife before I went to Afghanistan. During this part of my life, I was addicted to drugs. But on this night that I met my wife, I wasn't doing anything that I shouldn't be doing because I was wanting to better my life. Just like some of you, you might be single. I always like to tell the single girls, you make sure to build your walls high. You need to build them high. And sometime there's going to be a man that will be willing to climb those standards and those high walls. And the shortest men climb the best. Just so you guys know, the short guys climb the best. Now, usually when I do that, there's short guys in the crowd. They're sitting up even taller, you know. But I met my wife on a flight of stairs. I was walking down the stairs. She was walking up. She looked at me. I looked at her. We looked at each other. I'm sure she could see my heart pound inside of my shirt. As you can see, she's one of the most beautiful women that I've ever seen. My wife, when I first started doing all this, I was struggling. You're going to hear about my mental health coming home from war after 2 deployments. I was going to college. I wanted to prove that you can get a degree with having a learning disability, and I did that. But I was working at a chemical plant. I was in the military. I was shooting music videos. I was traveling. We started to invest in real estate, and my wife and I were struggling. And she told me that you broke your promise. You told me that you would make me smile every time that you were around. And here we were fighting. You never take me on a date. So I decided to write a song that's called Date Night. And this song made it on the country radio stations here in Utah. This is called Date Night. Baby, I know it's late. I know you got a lot on your plate. How about we go for a drive? We can count the miles or talk about where our time goes. When the radio turns on, I love it when you sing. I love it when you sing. Because you know I'll stop the car and spin you around. Watch your shadows hit the ground. The headlights will catch us. I can't believe I got used to this. Our spark plug reignites, dancing all through the night. I'll spin you around as we get older. Laugh about our lives, but then not older. Hey, hey, you're the best part of every day. It's late, it's past curfew. The kids are wondering, where were you? Mom and Dad, I know that it's late. I just thought we can play when you get home from your date. So I closed the door and I spun them all around. We laughed until we all hit the ground. The living room lights, they catch us kiss. I can't believe God blessed me with this. Our spark plug reignites, playing with our kids all night, We spin them around as they get older. We laugh about our lives, but then we told them, kids, go ahead and get to bed. She was tucking them in, and I was listening in. She said, Mom, I want to marry a man like Dad. I know he makes you mad. I seen him make you sad. Mom, he's a pretty good guy. When I heard the word, I fell to my knees and thanked the Lord, the most heavenly. I said, Lord, I am thankful for all that you give me, my family, my kids, and my wife. When I'm done praying, I'll walk in and say, I'm thankful for date night.
So that was the date night song that we shot in her county, in her town where she grew up. As you can see, my family, you saw my little girl sing with me. I make family a part of everything because when I was young, I didn't have a family. My family got ripped away from me and I was alone. You know, in that music video you seen on the drums, that's my father-in-law. And you see that kid on the guitar, just like you guys, his parents was at one of my shows and they heard me speak. And they said, Ryan, please, I want you to please take some time and meet with my son. Man, golly. And I met with their son and I ended up putting him in one of my videos. He's the guitarist and now he's doing amazing. And look, if you change your mind, it will change your life. Everything about your life will change if you just change your mind. That's my little girl, Nixon. She truly is the highlight of my life. And whenever I speak, I love to get people to know who I am before I even start what I'm doing, because the best way to be able to build a connection with other people is to get to know other people. That's why I'm introducing you guys to my life and my family before I teach you how to conquer your Coliseum. This is my youngest little girl, Olympia. Olympia, she is 4 years old. If you can't tell, she gets her looks from her mother. I tell everybody I'm the ugliest one in my family, and I am okay with that. I have a very, very dazzling family. I was gone to Afghanistan when my oldest daughter was 8 months old. And I returned home and I met her when she was 8 months old. And some of you have military families. Kathy, I know you have a son in the military, so he probably knows exactly what it's like. Whenever I would leave home, my girl Nixon, she would be 3, 4 at the time. She would beg for me not to leave because she would say, Dad, please don't go. Dad, are you gonna die? I remember I would be leaving in my military uniform and she would be FaceTiming me and I would be driving down the road and she would want to play hide and seek. So before we get into the story of my life, this will be the last song. This is my award-winning Verizon Wireless Salute Award for America Song, and Valor magazine, Daddy.
I hate it when you cry, when I'm brushing your hair, or when you're in the dark and feeling a little bit scared. During this life, you might feel like you're all alone. Here's a promise, one day you will understand. Your mom and I, we are doing the best we can. Daddy, will you please play with me? I'll count to 10 and we'll play hide and seek. Honey, you've been hiding in the same place you've been hiding for a week.
Daddy, are you going to war to fight the bad guys?
Yep, I am. I need you to be good for your baby sister who's coming soon, okay?
Okay.
I love you so much, and I need you to be brave. Always be a good helper for Mom.
I love you, Daddy. Be safe.
I'll always write you. I love you.
I love it when we sing, ring around the rosy, or when you blow those 3 little pigs' house down, or when you yell at the top of your lungs, Dad, be a king and I'll wear that crown. No, Daddy, will you please marry me? I'm counting 10 and you say I do. Honey, you've been wearing that same white dress you've been wearing for a week.
Babe, I miss you so much. I can't believe it's been 10 months. I'm so sorry I missed our daughter's birth. I'll see you soon. I promise I'll be safe.
I'm out here being all I can be. I watched your mom give birth to you over the Skype screen. I'm fighting for a nation that burns their American flag. I know it's frustration, let's use our persuasion and teach these people how to appreciate our land. And honey, one day I am sure you will understand. This soldier is doing the best he can. Tell you when are you coming home? I know you have to fight. Always remember to choose the right. That's something you used to say to me.
Daddy promised me you will come home.
That moment was the best moment of my life. You know, those of you that are on, you see that I do rap, I do country. Something that you're unable to see today is I've learned how to play the piano blindfolded. Continue playing with my left hand, flip upside down, and continue to play. Your mind is so powerful. And the only thing that is keeping you from doing anything is yourself. You know, when I was young, my brothers and I, we slept in a homeless shelter and different foster care homes. One by one, my brothers and I were separated from one another, feeling all of those mental health effects at such a young age. Lost, alone, scared, depressed, anxiety, anything you can feel. I could assure you that my brothers and I felt that. Many people wonder, well, why did you end up adopted? Why did you end up in a homeless shelter? And years later, I decided to dig out, because if you ever want to fix a problem, you have to go back to where you fell down and help yourself back up. We were living in East LA. I was born in the ghetto. When I was 17 years old, I went back to my family's house, and there was a dead child in the middle of the road the day before I got there. It was the ghetto. Our dad beat our mother into a coma. And my mom, she left the state of California. She took us before DCFS can get us, and she moved, she ran, she went to Colorado. When we were in Delta, Colorado, my mom, she was a single mom. We were poor. We lived in a small little rundown place. And my mother loved us. We're the only thing that kept my mother somewhat on the right path. But my mother, she did struggle. I remember when I was about 5 years old, I escaped from our little house, and I ran down to where I knew my mother was, at the jail. And I looked up at the windows and I just started to shout. A little teeny boy, I just started to shout, "Mom, Mom," until my mom came to the window. My mom, she looked down at me because she was a few stories up, and I could see the tears fall on the ground. My mother, now that I know, because I am older, and I could see my little child running towards the jail, for me, I know why my mom was crying. The choices and the decisions that she made, the choices and the decisions that you make, that she was making, they don't only affect you, they don't only affect her, they will affect everything around you. My mother, she was always trying to find love. My mom was always trying to find a man that would just treat her with respect, that would make her feel like that little princess, that would make her feel accepted. My mom was beat so many times. I remember my mom, she was crying, and it woke us up. And I remember running out of our little house and seeing my mom. It looked like her nose was broken and her face was bleeding and bruised. I thought to myself, who would do that? I will never do anything like that. My dad came from California to pick us up because my mom needed to get on her feet. I remember driving in the back of a truck, of a stranger's truck or a friend's truck. I don't know, but I remember driving in the back of a truck, the bed, the very back. I remember loading our 2 or 3 bags is all we had in the back of the truck, and then driving all the way to Utah. When we got to Utah, my dad had nothing. We would sleep under the bridge. We would take naps under the bridge during the day, and then we would just walk all over everywhere. I remember my feet would be burning because I took my shoes off for some reason, and my daddy was on substances, or he just didn't want to hold me, and I would burn my feet on the asphalt screaming for him to help me. I remember we got a car, and we would park that car along the sidewalk at the park to sleep. I remember kicking my dad's chair saying, "Dad, there are homeless people that are literally sleeping next to us." Wintertime came and we were able to sleep, not at a family member's house where there was no running water in the bathroom and no carpet, not behind their house in their garage because somebody was already living there, behind their garage in a shack. For the winter time is where my dad and us 3 boys slept. Space heaters and blankets, they warmed us. They warmed the cold concrete floor throughout the winter. But you know, when we were young, my brothers and I, we were entrepreneurs at a young age. We found some snow shovels, and 5, 6, 7 years old, we just started knocking doors because we needed money. We needed food, and my dad was asleep, but we woke up early. We started shoveling people's sidewalks. We got cookies, and my dad, when we came back, he took our money and then he beat us for not telling him where we were going. My dad, he got in trouble, and I watched him get arrested numerous times. But when my dad got arrested this time, when he got back, we left where we were living in that shack, and we got in the car and we just started to drive to a place called Helper, Utah, Carbon County. We had nowhere to go, so we lived and slept in a homeless shelter. And I remember my brothers and I, early in the mornings when nobody else was awake, so we thought we would sneak down the stairs and we would try to steal food from the kitchen. During the days, we would walk around the homeless shelter because you're not allowed to stay in a homeless shelter during the day. They're cleaning, it's closed. So we would walk all around the town. And I remember asking people if they had any food or any money that we could have so we could eat. And I remember there was 2 men that gave me one of the best 4 gifts I've ever been given. And it was a box of raisins. A box of raisins. But I was hungry. And at that young age, I realized how good it made me feel when somebody gave me a handshake, a smile, and gave me something that they were eating. That made me feel like $1 million. My dad was blessed with a small job in the town of Huntington. And there was a man, he came and he knocked on our door, and he had 2 people with him. And he realized that we were washing our clothes in the bathtub, and we had long hair. We couldn't read. We couldn't write. And he said, my wife has a school. Bring your children over to my home and she will teach them how to read and how to write. We were so far behind. One evening, we went to the homeless shelter to eat. And that man who came over, he ended up bringing a washer and dryer because he saw us wash our clothes in the bathtub. So that just tells you how amazing people are. But some time went on and we went to the homeless shelter to eat. We had no food. And we ate and got in the car and we started to drive home. And this is the moment where our whole life would change. My dad, he was using some substances. He was drinking, he was on drugs, whatever it was. He started to punch the windows. He started to punch the windows of the car until they, you know how thick the car windows are? He started to punch them until they would break, until they would crack. Red and blue lights started to chase our vehicle. And I remember the police officer, he knew my dad was drunk. He pulled my dad, he looked in the back, there was 3 boys. We were crying. We were scared. And he put my dad in handcuffs and he started to walk my dad back to his patrol car. At this point, I was so sick of seeing my mom. I was so sick of seeing my dad being taken away. I jumped out of our car. I ran over to the police officer. I knew karate and I was going to protect my dad. Obviously, I didn't know enough karate. This black belt ninja, 3 little Ninja Turtles got put back in his patrol car. And I remember watching my dad disappear into the dark Carbon County night at the age of 5 years old. That would be the last time I'd ever live with my family. The police officer, though, he put us in the back seat and he looked in his rearview mirror and he said, you guys are going to stay together. That's what he told us. He said, you guys will be together. There's a foster home where you guys will stay together. Look, I will take you there. A week or so went by and a cop came knocking on the door. And he said, I'm so sorry, but I have to take your brother away from you. My brother, I watched him get loaded in the patrol car and my brother left. I remember that night grabbing a blanket on this stranger's home, grabbing the blanket and laying on the floor, and I just cried. I had no mom, no little brother. My older brother just got taken away from me. I was 5 years old, but my kids, they're 5 years old, 4 and 9 now, but they know what's going on. And what's the number one thing children want? To be accepted and loved by their parents. And that was stolen from me as a child. And I had nothing to do. I talk about taking accountability, but when you're a child and your parents make choices that affect you and that will affect your mental health the rest of your life, that's on them, but it's on you to get the help that you need. And I've gotten that help. But a couple weeks later, another patrol car came. And I remember watching that police officer drive up that gravel driveway. And I remember the dust lifting off the tires, thinking to myself, I'm going to be alone. And I remember just sitting down behind the door and just crying, I'm going to be alone. I'm going to be alone. The police officer, he knocked on the door. The lady that owned the home opened up the door, and the police officer, he started to speak. But before he can get very many words out of his mouth, we saw my brother in the backseat of the cop car. And man, it'd been weeks since I've seen my family. And I ran out, my brother and I, we grabbed the back door. And we opened it. My brothers and I, we started to hug on each other. A 5-year-old and an 8-year-old hugging on a 7-year-old. He said, there's a family that wants to keep you in and keep you together. That man in the green shirt and that woman in that brown shirt, that's the same people who brought over a washer and dryer. That's the same lady that taught me how to write my name. I remember getting to their house and they had a trampoline. And man, I jumped on that trampoline and we would play WWF and people would body slam me and choke slam me all over that tramp. But I was just so excited to be able to jump. And a Nintendo, they had a Nintendo, which is equivalent to like an Xbox or something. Now, I would sit and play that Nintendo just like the rich kids. June 2nd passed and I just turned 6 years old. And I got the second best gift I've ever been given. And that was a pair of light up shoes. Man, I remember walking to the bathroom and slamming my feet down on the floor, closing the door and watching the whole bathroom light up because I just shut the lights off. Everybody in my whole community saw those pair of light up shoes and I made sure of it. My little brother, who's not in this picture right now, I don't think, actually he is, but he's in prison right now. And he had some horrible things happen to him. He stayed with my mom for 2 more years. These people that adopted us, to make the story short, after 2 years, after sending formula, diapers to my mother who was sadly struggling, we went to Colorado to visit my mother. And on this trip, my mother told my family, I will never be able, think of this, mothers. Think of how difficult, but how to love. And my mom, she committed suicide. But she said, I will never be able to give my son the life that you've given my other children. Can you please take him with you? So that song that you saw at the beginning, that's called I Believe. It's about being adopted. It's about the first time I got 1,000 views. I daydreamed of Hollywood in all of the interviews. I would call my mom and I would say, Mom, I'm making it. Throughout that whole song, you can tell my mother's up in heaven saying, son, someday you're going to make it. My music's being played in 63 countries around the world. And I've been able to speak all across our nation and do a show in Mexico. So do not ever let people tell you that you cannot do something. This song, I asked Kathy if we should play it or not. But when I was young, I wanted to be a superhero. I wanted to be the guy that everybody else loved. I wanted to be accepted by everybody. And superheroes seem to get all the attention. This song, I was able to go down on Veterans Day, and I was able to announce NASCAR on Fox Sports Net, ESPN. And it just tells you that gates and doors will be open. When you're smiling, great things will happen. This is called The Kid Inside, with real X Games riders, real NASCAR riders, real Major League Baseball players. The Kid Inside.
Remember when we used to watch Peter Parker, Peter Pan, and Captain Hook? We used to flip through magazines looking at heroes and crooks. We took a look at our fair share of comic books. Let me rewind to the times where the parks were full and we were swinging and dreaming, not understanding the meaning of growing up. Or doing what matters the most, cause obeying our parents, we thought that was a joke. We super soaked on the warm sunny days. We hoped that the clouds would just go away. There is a kid in every one of us that would like to play. So grab your cape and microphone and come and sing what I say. When I grow up, I wanna be a knight in shining armor or a king. I want a nice car or a house with the queen. When I grow up, I'm going to live my dream. We can do it. I will prove it. The kid inside of me lives again. I was a kid with a badge and a cape. I couldn't seem to escape the AIDS that came with the cake. I celebrate every year, made a wish. A superstar, Prince Charm. That's what I wish to be. The Peter Pan from Neverland or Captain Hook out at sea. Night games, lights out, keep a lookout for me. But now I'm getting older, can't forget about my past. The times I got in trouble for wearing my cape to class. Recess was my favorite subject, listening I couldn't do. Fell down, stood up, no matter what I'm pushing through. Daydreaming of all the heroic things that I can do. When I grow up, I wanna be a knight in shining armor or a king. I want a nice car or a house with the queen. When I grow up, I'm going to live my dream. We can do it. I will prove it. The kid inside of me lives again. I am the captain of my soul. I am the leader of my ship. I am a knight in shining armor with Cinderella by my hip. Every time I went down the slide, every time I skipped through the rope, I was training to give people hope. Nope, don't wanna grow up, but it happened way too fast. I pressed the gas past 60, watch me doing laps. Now I'm getting older, I'm reminded of my past. My kid got in trouble for using powers during class. Recess is her favorite subject, listening they didn't do. Fell down, stood up, no matter what they're pushing through. Daydreaming of all the heroic things that they can do. When I grow up, I wanna be a knight in shining armor or a king. I want a nice car or a house with the queen. When I grow up, I'm going to live my dream. We can do it. I will prove it. The kid inside of me lives again. I'll never grow up.
I'm excited to show you guys my new stuff. That is all old stuff. When I was 17 years old, I was the homecoming king. I was breaking track records. I wanted to be in the special forces. When I graduated honors at basic training, I got promoted on the spot for being the fastest person in my battalion. On a 4-mile run, the second place person was 10 minutes behind me through the mountains with a rucksack on. 5'3.5", running like a gazelle. I had life by the horns. I was in the National Guard, so I came home with a $20,000 sign-on bonus. I was going to school and I was working in the coal mine making $25 an hour in 2008. I disobeyed my parents, my leaders, my teachers. To make the story very short, because I know we only have like 20 minutes and I have so much ammo to still give, I was sued. I went to jail. I was pulled over twice with drugs. I was breaking into apartments. I was homeless. I was sleeping in the car that the bank was looking for, and I had to pay back $25,000 to $30,000 to the courts. I was at the court, one last court. The military did not want me to go to war with them, and I said, please let me go with you. There was one more court. I went to like 30 courts. There was one more that I needed an okay from, and it was assault on a police officer. It was being under the age and being intoxicated. And I said to that judge, I said, please, judge, I need to escape my surroundings. If you want to change, you have to change. That means removing yourself from friends. If you want to change the small things, the direction you go to work, who you hang out with around work, who you're texting, who you're talking to, what you're reading and what you're watching. Change. I said, I need to change. That judge walked off the stand, gave me a hug and said, you can go to Afghanistan. 2 years ago, I spoke at that judge's conference. There was around 23 of the 32 soldiers I was with in Afghanistan that had their vehicle blown up with an IED. Because we're short on time, I just want to tell you, war is tough, man. You see things that break your heart. The third best gift that I was ever given, I have time to tell you that story. I would get out just like you're seeing right here, and I would play with the kids. I would beatbox. I would rap. I would dance. They would have so much fun. I told them I was Chris Brown. They didn't know. They did not know. I sent that picture on the left home to my mother, and my mother started to cry. Again, I was a drug addict, and I left still addicted to drugs. I just quit cold turkey. She said, Ryan, that is that hero that you told me you wanted to become. I used to sign my name on everything around the house. And I told my parents, one day I'm going to sign autographs for millions of people. And she said, now you're doing it, son. We were on an observation point and there was this little boy that came up and we were told that we were no longer allowed to get out of the vehicles. We would open up the doors in our province. The kids would have bombs strapped to their bodies. We would open up the doors and they would kill the soldiers in the province. People would say, why do they do that? Well, if somebody came to your house and told you to do that, or they're going to kill everybody in your family, that'd be a very difficult decision. That's one of the reasons why we keep our mouth shut for the couple minutes, why we do the Pledge of Allegiance and sing our national anthems, to give the thanks that is well deserved to the police officers and militaries that are in uniform. Not all of them are great, awesome, perfect people. Nobody's perfect. Some of them do wrong things and they will be in trouble for it. But we put our hand over our heart for the ones before, behind, and now that are fighting to keep our country so it's never like that. We were on an observation point and this little boy, he came up, he wanted food. He wanted a piece of candy. My sergeant said, throw out a piece of candy. And I said, no, these kids are trying to kill us and we're over here trying to help them. I lost the debate. I threw out a piece of candy and that little boy ran over there, about a 3-year-old girl and about a 6-year-old boy. The boy ran over and he beat his little sister over to that candy and he picked it up. One time I witnessed a little girl grab a piece of candy and everybody around her beat her, kicked her, grabbed her hair, threw her to the ground. And the men, because the women, they're in veils and they're over there, the men just watched. Women have no rights in that country and some countries around the world. So if somebody complains about our country, they need to go back to theirs or somewhere where we all are united. Races, cults, religion, it doesn't matter. Together, the United States gives us the opportunity to be one. This little boy turned and gave that piece of candy to his little sister. We've never seen anything like that. So we gave him as much food and candy as he can carry, and he went home. But then the little boy came back, and he had something behind his back. And he started to come close to our vehicle. And we honked at this little boy and yelled, and he kept coming. And the gunner fired a pin flare at the little boy, and it's one of our something we have to do before we shoot. The little boy, he stopped, and I reached up and I turned the camera on to take this little child's life. And I honked the horn and I just prayed that the little boy would stop. And the gunner, he put his weapon right on that little boy. And the little boy stopped. And the little boy gave me the third best gift. He held up what was behind his back, and it was an egg. Over there, they have nothing. The little boy ran all the way home and he got me an egg. He gave me the gift that his family could give. I learned no matter where you are at in life, there is good wherever there is bad. And if there is not good, you be the good, you be the example. When I got home, there was so much stuff going on. I got married. I went back to war. I come home again. I was struggling. I had my little girl one night by her hair because I had a dream we got attacked. I was struggling and I about lost my family. I started getting addicted and my mental health just struggled. This song is about a kid, and I won the music awards here in Utah. It's about a kid who got addicted to drugs. And he told his dad, I'm never going to do drugs, Dad. But there are military members, there are people that to cope, they use drugs. It's their escape. And this song will talk about that.
Wonder what you think of me now. Wonder if I let you down.
Dad,
Down.
did I ever let you down?
Wonder what you think of me now. Wonder if I'll turn around.
Will I ever turn around? Hello, Dad, it's me, I'm up in heaven. I bet you have a million questions why I did what I did. I'm sure you and our family wish that you could rewind time and start me over as a little kid. My story was shared on CNN. I wish I could have had the confidence you said to overcome my addictions. My friends, they dumped my body off that night after I overdosed on prescriptions. Now, I replay the moments when you and Mom gave me CPR, trying to revive me. The lights on the ambulance were dark, but then I found light. God took me by my hand. Yo, Katie, Tori, Lizzie, Stan, you were right and I was wrong. There are angels all along. Grandma says hi, and Grandpa says don't my life. As a kid, I went from using a nightlight to lost in the nightlife.
Wonder what you think of me now. Wonder if I lay down. Wonder what you think of me now. Wonder if I'll turn around.
Hello family, it's me, I love heaven. I bet you have a million questions what it's like. There is nothing to dislike, childlike. Better than going fast and jumping my motorcycle in San Pete at night. And I said hi to Joey and Jack the Black Lad we used to have. He's always by my side. Dad, I know you tried. You taught me to stand up and fight my demons, to understand the book and plans in Ephesians. Now, I replay the moments when you told me that you loved me. All of that advice and hugged me. I used to use those drugs to numb my feelings. They made me think that I was overcoming, but I was dealing around every corner. There is a fix. I wish that every addicted person in the world would learn from this. I can feel you every time you pray. Please know that this was my decision. He has risen. Dad, there was a grove. And Dad, there really was a vision.
Wonder what you think of me now. Wonder if I lay
Dad,
down.
you would love it. You can't believe what it's like in heaven.
Wonder what you think of me now. Wonder if I'll turn around.
I turned around. We'll watch over you like you watched over me.
Wonder what you think of me now. Wonder if I lay down.
My spirit's sober.
Wonder what you think of me now. Wonder if I'll turn around.
You know, whether you believe in God, Christ, whoever you believe in, doesn't matter what religion you are. I've been all over the world. Just believe in something. There are 5 steps into conquering your Colosseum. Look, I struggle, but I still pick up the mic. You've heard some of my story today. I'm not the best. I don't speak the best. I don't sing the best, but I love what I am doing. Step 1. 4 years ago, I was losing my job. I came home in tears and I had no job. We purchased a duplex because we wanted to get into real estate. To make the story short, my family was living in a duplex and I had no job and I had 2 kids. That is difficult to come home and tell your wife you failed. How did I change? How did I go from that to me and my wife living in a 3-story home, driving our Range Rover, owning 3 businesses and just killing it at life? Step number 1, ask yourself, how am I? Who am I? How are you? Are you sad? Are you mad? Are you angry? Are you depressed? Are you okay? This is going to be in one of my new songs, so you get the sneak peek. Would your 7-year-old self be proud of who you are today? Would your 70-year-old self be proud of you today? So you ask yourself, who are you? But I want you to ask those questions. Would your 7-year-old self say, hey, you're doing a great job? Or maybe you need to change some things. I'm going to help you change some things because we all need to change. Step 2 is you need to take accountability. That's just it. Ask yourself, am I okay? Okay, if I'm okay, let me start taking accountability of my thoughts, my actions, and my words. People don't understand. Your thoughts are so powerful. Your thoughts, look, how was the internet created? Somebody thought about it. How was the airplanes created? Somebody thought about it, right? This is the Colosseum, your brain, your mind, your life. Your words are like magic. When I hear people say, I can, I say, whoa, how can I? You never say, I can't. You say, how can I? Well, I don't have time. Did you sleep last night? Yeah, like 2 hours. It doesn't matter. You had time. Stop blaming other people. Yeah, I lived in a homeless shelter and foster care and my mom committed suicide. That was yesterday. What am I doing today? I took accountability for my mental health. I was struggling. I stopped complaining and I stopped using excuses. And then I started to believe in myself. Step 3, I started to believe in myself. I started to believe that I can change. So I had to set some goals. How do you set goals? How do you believe in yourself? Well, I believe in myself, but how do you do it? Start setting goals. How do you set goals? First of all, be realistic. I'm 5'3" and I wanted to be in the NBA. Is that realistic? Not really, but it's possible. Everything's possible. Look at Muggsy Bogues, right? But be a little bit realistic. If I'm on a basketball team and I am playing center when I should be playing point guard, is that being realistic? No. Could I still play the position? Yeah, but not good, and I'm not going to succeed. Recognize what you're good at and work at it. Recognize what you're good at. Take care of yourself physically, mentally, and spiritually. Surround yourself with positive people. The whole key to my small success is surrounding myself with people who are better than me. Not better than me. I should never say that, but who are working on themselves to better themselves. And to be kind to yourself. You have to be kind and make a plan. How am I able to do all this stuff? How am I able to conquer my Coliseum? I write everything down that I want to achieve. Step 1, I need a music video. Step 2, where's it going to be shot? Miami. Step 3, I need a helicopter. Step 4, I need something with Lamborghini doors. Step 5, that sounds like a what? But it's possible. Find out what resources you need, make a checklist, and start checking off every single one of them. The last step is you have to take action. Read your goals daily. Actively work on your plan. You have time. The only thing you really don't have time to do is make excuses, because then you're going to be busy making excuses and not making results. Take action immediately. Keep setting goals. Look, if you're short, there's nothing you can do about it. But I can work on myself. I can get more fit. I can get bigger. If you're overweight, well, take accountability. If you're okay with it, great. If you're not, okay. If you've got long hair, if you don't like something about your mental health, physical, whatever it is, if you read slow, start reading. We have time for just one more video, and then you guys will have to just watch the rest. And I wish we could see all the other ones. But this one is called Never Give Up. And this is about a boy. This is about a boy who has no arms and no legs. And he was getting made fun of because he was texting with his lips. And a woman that had cancer. These people showed me that you could overcome anything. That's my new video. Dang it. Wish we had time to see it. Never give up.
There's a little girl who used to sit in that chair until some students chose to laugh at her and stare. Let me show you how you treat the ladies. I'd like to show you how you treat a man. From the beginning of every conversation, always start by shaking a hand. You never know what someone's going through. I can teach you a thing or two. Do you see that boy sitting over there? He has been through so much, more than we could ever endure. Don't you be afraid, my baby girl. Go on up and shake his hand, and I am sure he'll say, well, I know where I am going, and I know where I belong. Just because I can walk and talk doesn't mean I don't belong. Oh, I know where I belong. I salute the people who will never give up. Your proof Christ's strength is in every one of us. Sing along now. Go. Oh, 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 Do you see that girl losing all her hair? She has been through so much, more than we could ever dare. She's a hero in my eyes, oh, an angel in disguise. And I am sure she'll say, I know where I am going. I know where I belong. I salute the people who will never give up. Your proof Christ's strength is in every one of us. Sing along now. Go. Now let your light shine brighter than the light of day. And when people speak bad about you, give them something good to say. We're all on a quest, we have miles to go. And when you cross your finish lines, you're gonna see these muscles grow. No matter how hard your life gets, always remember we all have trials. We all have hills and hurdles that we need to overcome. And together, we can do it. Never give up.
Never, ever give up. You know, that guy that was with his wife, that was the man who came up to me at church and said, people are getting sick of seeing you online. That girl that had no hair, I just was able to perform for her mother and their whole city this last week in Cedar City. My friends, the only thing that's keeping you from changing and bettering your health, your mental health, your physical, spiritual, is you. Take accountability, make a plan, write out your plan, and take action. We have about 2 minutes for questions. I'd love to answer some questions. I would also invite you guys to check out my new album and my new videos that's on YouTube. If you guys, man, felt a little happiness or a little bit of, yeah, let's keep going, please share my message, and I'd love to come anywhere. But do we have any questions, Kathy, from anybody? I'd love to answer. And I'm going to stay after. We could stay for another hour. I don't care. I would love to answer whatever questions I could. So everyone's got to answer, at least ask one question. Kathy.
Okay, anybody have any questions for Ryan? I know one of my colleagues that was on, she really enjoyed it. She had to leave early. She put something in the chat to say that she wants to check out more of your music. And
Awesome. You know why you guys are all thinking for a question. Everybody asks what happened to your brothers. The oldest brother in the story, he did, you know, he made good choices his whole life. Now he's a millionaire. He's probably a millionaire. You know, he has the house that has the 2 stairs and has 11 workers. He's somebody that he struggled mentally. He struggled throughout life, but he always made good choices. The one brother that got taken away in the story, he went to prison for 5 years. He struggled his whole entire youth in group homes. But he's almost a millionaire now. And he owns multiple businesses, a house in Costa Rica, a house in the Bahamas, a house in Miami, a house in Palm Coast. And then there's me. I just want to use my gifts and my talents to help smile and put my arms around other people and let them know that no matter what happens, when you prepare the correct way, you can go into any Coliseum and in battle, because I know I've been to war twice. Sadly, my youngest brother, he is still in prison. He was addicted to heroin. He wrecked his vehicle, flipped out of the vehicle. He was frozen on the side of the road. He had to learn how to walk and talk and eat again, and he did. But sadly, he went back to drugs. He went back to where he felt accepted, and that was to the old friends. But he could walk, he could talk, he could learn, but sadly, he made some choices that put him back in prison. It doesn't matter, again, like I said, what happened, right? Even when my brother gets out, there's 2-3 other people I'm working with right now. They all have been to prison. Fisher, the guy that spoke to you guys last week, another one, is that his name, Fisher, right? He's been to prison. Now he's a success story. It does not matter. Quit using excuses. It doesn't matter what happened yesterday. Today is a new chapter. You're the author of your story, and only you could write the book of your life. Is there any other questions? Bethany, all right. Yeah, hands raised. So I'll ask you guys a question. What did you, I do piano, I do rap, I do country music. What did you respond to? Was it the country? Was it the rap for some of you? You didn't get to see the piano blindfolded and laying down, but that's neat. What was your favorite song?
I have to say mine was the one with Stormtrooper.
Yeah, that's a fun one. I've had a few thousand people in the crowd, and that's when everybody gets out their light and we throw balls and glow sticks out to the crowd, and it's a lot of fun. It's a lot of fun. So, well, I won't keep you guys too much longer. I appreciate this so much, Kathy, everyone, for having me here. Hopefully gives you a little seed to water.
Yes, thank you. This was great. And this is being recorded, so anybody that wasn't able to see it, this will be out next week for students that couldn't make it. I know we had a number of students that were going to come, but for whatever reason couldn't.
Kathy, you sending out the links so we can put for the attendance?
Oh, thank you, Amy. Yes.
You're
this is
welcome.
something. See, what would I do without Amy? Anybody that's here, if you can just click this one
Question
link here.
for you, Ryan.
Yeah. Hey, what's up?
So from the many songs you make, what is your most favorite one?
Oh man, that's tough. So if you guys have time, it's actually this one right here. It's called Cultures. I don't know. Are we out of time? Or would you guys like to hear it?
If you want to stay on, we can. If anybody that is attending, if you could just click that link so that helps me track attendance. But yeah, we can listen to another song. That's great.
Or you guys can listen to it online. Doesn't matter. I don't know how to take this thing off. Man. All right, I'll just try to. This song is for every religion. So I'm doing this video and I'm shooting it in different countries with different cultures. Culture. I'm feeling so amazing with you by my side. I think that every day is a blessing in disguise. Remember when our little kid started walking, and now the youngest little one, she is talking. I'm running my fingers through her hair, singing to her. These will be the moments that will never ever be forgotten. But now we're looking at the pictures in the frame that's on the wall. Marks on the side of the door that tell us how tall. It's time to take them to a different destination and introduce them. Oh no, that's when it starts getting cool. Oh, I was just gonna comment back. Oh, I ruined it. I'm sorry, everybody. Oh, let's see if I can put a link in this chat and then you guys can check it out.
Okay, that'll work. We always have this struggle with technology, you know?
Oh shoot. Okay, we're gonna try it again. It's a short song. I just want you guys to hear it because I want some feedback real quick. And there's a couple of you still on. So if you guys would like to do that, I won't respond to this, but thank you, Amy. This song. But I'm gonna have the Polynesians, the Tongans, dressed up as Tongans and the Mexicans and everything. I'm feeling so amazing with you by my side. I think that every day is a blessing in disguise. Remember when our little kid started walking, and now the youngest little one, she is talking. I'm running my fingers through her hair, singing to her. These will be the moments that will never ever be forgotten. But now we're looking at the pictures in the frame that's on the wall. Marks on the side of the door that tell us how tall. It's time to take them to a different destination and introduce them to the last 4 generations. I'm feeling so amazing with you all by my side. I think that every day is a blessing in disguise. It's time to travel the globe. It's time to show where we are come from. Cheers in North and South America and over to Italy, Africa, Antarctica, Europe, and all of Asia. Different colors, different races, languages, and places, different stages, continents full of smiles on other faces. I never thought that I would make it this far, but I had angels on my shoulders singing, I will be a star. The advice that I can give to my future family is be like the dancing Monty from Calamity. I never looked for enemies, but then I fought some enemies. I went to war twice, now I look for peace. Let kindness beat all of the wickedness and set aside our differences and be the generation history witnesses. I'm feeling so amazing with you all by my side. I think that every day is a blessing in disguise. It's time to travel the globe. It's time to show So as soon as the drums start, that's going to be the Polynesian Islands and the Tongans. I shot it in Miami already, Cancun, Tulum. We were going to go to Colombia, but because everything that's going on, it's kind of been tough. But this is pretty neat. At one of my concerts, I have everybody doing this. As soon as it starts, everyone's... All my songs just wrap back into my music. Where do you come from? Like, you know, who are you? What's your story? I want to hear it, but let me help you better yourself and let me learn from you. So I guess the advice that I was going to ask is, what culture do you guys, would you think would be real neat to bring on to this? I'm using the Polynesians, the Mexicans. I got a shot in front of Chinatown. We're not going to have time to go to China, but with COVID and everything going on, but I don't know, like I want a unique culture, but I just can't decide what's very unique. African. Ooh, that would be cool. Yeah, actually, I like that. I'll see what I can do. See if I can go to Africa. But anyways, if there's no other questions, I appreciate you asking that question. If you guys want to follow me on Instagram, I'll give you a follow back real quick. And please check out my YouTube videos and share them. That's just the only thing I ask, is let's just get the good message out. And Kathy, hopefully I hear from you again. I'd love to come out and go to the schools out there. So let's see if we can make it happen.
Awesome. All right.
Awesome.
Thank you.
So much, everybody. Have a good
Thank
night.
you.
Thank you, everybody.
Bye.
You bet.
Bye.
Thank you. Bye.
Bye.
Bye.